Welcome one and all, I'm Decoy, back with a special episode of Cool and Unique Camp Locations, and this week we're focusing just on locations in Toxic Valley. Now these aren't necessarily the best locations out there, but there are a few cool ones that I thought deserve to be in the episode. Starting off with this awesome stage out here in Toxic Valley that I've almost never seen anybody camp at. I think I may have ran into one or two camps the entire time I've been playing where I've seen someone camp here. It is a really overlooked spot. I've never really ran into enemies that were a pain here. If I recall correctly, I think it's normally only animal spawns in the vicinity. Now you do have a Nuka Shine bottle right there, which is super cool. Get random people just showing up drunk at your camp for no reason. Okay, there was a reason, and I think the drunk part may have had something to do with it. But now's not the time for that. You do get a tinkerer's workbench, which is awesome. A little bit of wood. But it's a spot that has some potential, and I haven't ran into a camp that truly took advantage of it yet. So who knows, maybe down the road one of you will camp there and I'll get to check it out. I'm hoping for great things. Location wise, that may be why I haven't seen people camping there. One, it's Toxic Valley, it's up near the top. People don't like that. Now this location, I know some people like it. It's been a long time since I've ran into anybody camping here. I had a camp here long ago, so the first thing I can say is the propeller blades will pass through your floor or anything in the way. It'll just go right through it. So it is kind of cool. Now, the way I did it was I had the propeller blade blocking a way to a certain part of my camp. Because if you don't time your walking through just right, it will block you from going through. This is a fun thing to mess around with. Now, as for the location, you do have a little bit of junk up here. Not a ton, but enough to hopefully keep you happy. Additionally, you do get an armor workbench, which, free workbenches are always cool. I don't know why anybody would be mad about a free workbench, other than maybe it's in the way of where you'd like to place something else. And this spot also has the Nuka Shine bottle, meaning people just stumbling into your camp at all hours. Maybe they'll buy something. You never know. Overall, a really cool spot. Definitely fun to build a camp there. If you've never built a camp there, I'd put that on your bucket list of places to build camps, because it is really cool playing around with the fan blades. Now we'll move over just a little bit to a spot that is cool, but at the same time, the enemies that spawn here can get a little annoying. Every time I've been here, it's either been mongrels or wolves that spawn here. And those wolves can get kind of annoying. And it's kind of depressing, because this is awesome. You got an outdoor bar area. So, if you do camp here, keep in mind that you are going to have to deal with some wild mongrels or wolves, and they can be a pain. But I wouldn't let that deter you from building a camp here at some point if that's something you want to do. Just find a way to deal with those pesky mutts and you'll be okay. Because there's nowhere else quite like this in the wasteland. The outdoor bar is awesome. I really wish that we would get that bar that's back there behind the tent. I would love to be able to build that at my camp. Location wise, at least you're not horribly far away from a train station. Now we'll move over some more to some houses. Well, I guess a house and then some destroyed houses. I know some people, your first thought's going to be, there's way better houses out there. Well, the house that I would have put in this one's place. I kind of used for the housing special video, and I didn't want to throw it into a video again so soon after that one. The house that you do get here that's complete, well, for the most part, is a fairly decent little house. I love the front porch on this house. It's really cool. You do get a little bit of furniture blocking here and there, but you also get a fair amount of space that you can actually use. Again, you are going to have problems like most houses with holes in the floor, which, massive bummer, and a giant junky bed just blocking the area. And that does suck. Now, as for enemies, yes, they do spawn here. Now, we'll see them here in a minute when I get inside the next house. Good old Mirelurks. They didn't stand a chance. I'm actually kind of surprised that some of the items here didn't get thrown around a lot more from the explosions. So, it does kind of suck having enemies here, but I have seen a fair amount of people taking advantage of this location. Luckily, since it is Toxic Valley, the enemies aren't going to be insanely leveled, but I mean, they'll still be mid-leveled enemies just tearing up your stuff. As for its location, this one's going to keep you pretty well centered in Toxic Valley. Not much else I can say about it. Now let's head over some more. Now this is a location that it was a must-have. There's no way I could show locations in Toxic Valley without showing the freaking awesome diner. This spot is so awesome, except for the enemies. They're not awesome. They're annoying. But as for what you get in the camp, if you're here, you've got a nice variety of junk. You got some food. You got some awesome teddy bears that I'll show you in a second. There's also a key in here, but I'm not going to talk about that. But the teddy bears, look at them. You're going to cook up the other teddy. They're freaking evil. They're adorable and evil all at once. So yeah, you do get a fair amount going on in here, but ghouls will always spawn in the diner. Ghouls in the diner, and then normally you will see snallygasters on either end of the diner, either towards the junky houses that are off to the side on one, and then there's a building off to the other side that you'll normally see one or two snallygasters hanging out over there. So you are going to have to fight for this cool location. But man, I mean, it's a friggin' diner. Where else in the world can you camp at a diner? So, awesome spot. Pretty well centered in Toxic Valley. And it's not a overly common spot for people to camp. Now to my favorite location. Well, I know it's weird. Why is this Decoy's favorite location? We just had a diner. Now he's showing me an outhouse. Okay, outhouse isn't spectacular. But what's going on inside this building is awesome. Now you do get a cooking station here, which is cool. You also get a tinkerer's workbench. You get some bags of cement. But it's the item you can get inside of here that helps to put it over the top of other locations in Toxic Valley for me. And that is 2 rolls of military-grade duct tape. I know some of you are like, that is so stupid, Decoy. I'm sorry. That ballistic fiber. I love it, alright? Me and that ballistic fiber, we go way back. I love my ballistic fiber. So that's what I think helps put this place over the top. Enemies, there were bugs in here this time, but most of the time when I've shown up here, it's been super mutants. I guess another thing I should note real quick is right out this door over here that I'm about to go through. I have seen power armor spawn up there before. So there's always a possibility of that. But that's going to wrap up all my locations in Toxic Valley. Next week we'll head on down to the ash heap and probably get lung cancer. But we'll also see some cool places along the way. I hope you've enjoyed this. As usual, please remember to like, sub, and share. Later.